What's up, everyone? All right, well, I broke the ice with my first trade of 2024, and thank goodness I am locking up 2024 first day of the year with a green day, above the daily goal, over $6,000 of profit. That's a great start. I finished 2023 with a green day, which was nice, put a little bookend to the end of kind of a choppy year, and I'm starting this year with a green day. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, but it's always nice to start with a green day because this gives me a little bit of a tailwind. Now I feel like, okay, I've got a little bit of a cushion, and it's not a small green day, it's a decent green day. So now tomorrow I can feel, a little bit more confident, taking a little bit more risk, and this very quickly can put me into a solid positive feedback loop where my confidence encourages me and gives me the confidence to take bigger share size. Now I'm trading with bigger size. Now my profits are getting bigger. My profit loss ratio is improving. And just like that, winners can stack up very quickly. So my hope is that this is the beginning of a little bit of a hot cycle, but even if it's not, either way, it's still a nice start to the year. I did sit down on the early side today and, I felt like I needed to be a little bit careful. First day of the year, first day back after a 3-day weekend, and really first day back after the holidays. So my expectations today were very low. Something that I'm thinking about for 2024 is just sort of the fact that, I sit down every single day and I want to trade. And every single day I want to trade and I want to try to make money. But sometimes I lose sight of the fact that, the market's just not that strong today. And maybe I'm better off conserving my energy, not taking unnecessary losses, and sort of, holding that firing power until things get hot. And, over the course of 2023, we had windows where there were tremendous amounts of opportunities. Early in the year, we had the Silicon Valley Bank, so all this sort of opportunity within the banks. And then we had, of course, during the summer, we had these Chinese IPOs and these SPACs that were really strong. And, so it's like we had these windows where there were a lot of opportunities. There were a few other cycles, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. But nonetheless, each time we had a stock that went up 500% or 1,000%, it felt like, that triggered a week of some really heightened volatility where there were some great opportunities. Now, we didn't have that today. Today, we had a couple of good moves. We had a stock that went up 200%. That's the one that I made the most on. That was solid. But, it wasn't anything insane. It's not enough to start, a new round of momentum. It's not going to be anything that goes down in the history books is like, whoa, do you remember that? No, it's going to be forgotten and, whatever. So I'm kind of waiting for that next stock that makes a really big, crazy move. I suppose the last one was SJ or ZJ, whatever it was, that, that Chinese ticker that went from like $12 to $500. But to be honest, I don't think that really touched a lot of people because it was such an anomaly. The volume was relatively light. I don't think a lot of people were really trading it. So I think a lot of people kind of just missed it completely and don't have much FOMO over it because it was just such a weird thing. It definitely highlighted the risk of shorting. But nonetheless, it's been a little while since we had one that was really crazy. We had a couple in the beginning of December. Again, nothing that really goes down in the records, but just, it was like a 500% move. We had a couple. And so since then, it's been, a little more subdued. So what I'm waiting for now is that next cycle, that next kind of theme, that next stock that goes totally bananas and then triggers 5, 6, 7 other stocks just like it to go crazy. So in the meantime, if it's slow, I don't need to push it. I can be patient. At the same time, there were some opportunities today. I was able to break the ice, get green, and so that's good. All right, so let's look at the charts here for a second. So sitting on the day, as you can see, $6,166.76. Check. Daily goal, good. I'll talk about the daily goal in a moment, but which is 5,000, or that's what it has been. But anyways, so let's see. We've got a high here of 13 on POL. So with POL, well, let's actually start with LBPH. So LBPH here, this one was the first one I traded today. All right, so we'll start with this. This was kind of crazy. So, all of a sudden, look at this chart. This stock goes at 8 a.m. News comes out and it squeezes from $7, $6, $7, all the way up to a high of $18.43. Golly, that is an impressive move. That's $10 a share. Honestly, I didn't trade it that well. I'm up 5,000 on it. I didn't trade it that well in part because, when I first pulled it up, by the time I first pulled it up, it was already hitting $12 a share right up here. So it squeezed up like on very light volume, 7 points. So it sort of made the first leg of the move here on very light volume. And I was just like, I don't know. It's got bigger spreads. The volume's light. So on my very first trade on it, I broke the ice. Let's see. Actually, my first trade was at $11.09. Bought 1,000 shares. All right. I sold that one. Ended up adding back at like 14, selling at 15 with small size, 1,000 share blocks. I was not going big on it. Added at 16, sold at like 16.50. Added back at 16.80, sold at 17.70. Just kind of traded the move up. Got a couple of dip trades as it came back down. But really, the thing for me was that as soon as it hit my scanners, it was already up a ton and had big spreads. It was the big spreads that really made it the most difficult. So we'll jump on the whiteboard here for a second. So when it first comes up and I got in at 11. So we have, let's see, 11.10 by, like 10.90. So we're straddling a whole dollar there. So you've got a 20-cent spread between the bid and the ask. So I punch the buy button, I fill at 11.09, 1 penny below the offer, but I'm instantly down 19 cents a share, right? It's $200. Now it squeezes up to 11.45. And when it goes up to 11.45, this is what the level 2 looks like. It goes to 11.45 on the offer, but it's like 11.18 on the bid. So, on the offer, I'm up a bit, but on the bid, I'm only up like 8 cents, 9 cents a share. And this is what kind of kept happening. So I would buy, I would be up, I'd put my order on the ask here. So I'd put my, 1,000 shares on the ask at 11.45, and I wouldn't fill. I wouldn't fill any shares. And then all of a sudden I would see some red and I'd be like, shoot, you know what? I think I'm going to have to hit the bid on this. And then, I hit the bid on it. So I bail out, I only make 10 cents. So what started to happen was my winners were kind of small, but when I did catch a loser, like a couple of them where I added at 11.45 for the break through the $half, and then it drops it's 11.18. And then by the time I'm selling, it's like 10.98. I'm losing a solid 50 cents a share on some of these trades. So, this got me a little frustrated, and I was just like, man, this thing is grinding higher, but it's got these topping tails, and then it dips, and then topping tail, and then dips, topping tail, and then kind of dips, topping tail, false breakout. Now it's just selling off. And then off of this level, I actually got a nice trade, 12.50 support. As it curled back up here. This was actually one of my better trades. That was a good one. I also had a good one at the open right here, which was like maybe a $1,500 winner. And I got out. My best exit on this was about $20.57. It hit a high of $21.50, so I didn't get out at the high of day. But the problem on this was that we got this big topping tail, and then it sells off. And at that point, I was like, I don't know. I don't think there's going to be, I think this is kind of ruining the chart here, that sort of ugly candle. And this is the 1 minute chart. So when we look at this on the 5 minute, you'll see that was a red candle to start the day. So a high volume red candle starts the day for us. And that kind of set the tone on this one. So it's sort of slowly been selling off, coming back down, whatever. Anyway, so I've moved on from that one. And then I was like, okay, what's next? So we had DOGZ hit the scanners, light volume stock. It ends up halting up, making a big move. But the spreads again on this one were pretty big. I just did not feel like I could trust it. So it halts up here at like $7.20. It opens, flushes, rallies back up, then flushes again. That's hard to trade. So no trades on that one for me. POL, this one, I didn't end up trading. It didn't have news today that I saw. It ends up having like 7, 8 green candles in a row. But up here, it started to get pretty extended We had a halt. And again, on this one, it was kind of wild. So it halts, it opens, it drops, it almost halts down, and then it rips up and halts up. And when it was almost halting down, I was like, well, I mean, I guess that makes sense. You've got 2, 4, 5, 6 green candles in a row, and it was halting down right there. And then it rips back up, halts up. But again, you had bigger spreads on this. And then it opens higher. And I thought about dipping a rip, but I was like, I just don't think it's worth it. I just don't want to push my luck on it. So anyways, didn't want to push my luck on it. It goes a little higher. It pulls back, comes a little higher here. And in this area, I was like, okay, this is a double top. It's not breaking firmly. It's barely holding over the double top. This is weakness. I think this is going to be a reversal coming back down here. And it was. So anyways, I didn't end up trading it. I didn't like it in this area. This area was too choppy. And this area, I thought about it, but I was like, I don't think I can break the ice with it up here. PNST was one that I traded. This one, it was halted. It sold off. And I actually bought it at $8.39 coming out of this first halt, or out of this halt down into the first halt up. And that ended up being a nice little trade. It was small size because the volume was light on it, but that was a nice reversal trade. I was thinking of ZJYL or whatever that one was, and I was like, who knows? Maybe this will open at $500 a share. Probably not, but you never know. So anyways, that was a little dip trade, or a reversal trade, really. And yeah, that was it. So anyways, broke the ice today with a few trades, got myself in the green, $6,000. And in terms of my daily goal, so I've had the $5,000 daily goal for a few years. During 2020 and 2021, I'm pretty sure my daily goal was 20,000. And I was hitting that pretty consistently. It was a different market then. We had a lot of liquidity, which allowed me to take huge size, and so I could make quite a lot of money. And then I reduced it to 5,000, I think in 2022. I was like, let's scale this back. And 2022 was a good year, and I was hitting it pretty consistently. So 2023, I was like, I'll just leave it at 5,000. But in 2023, I didn't hit it consistently. And by the way, my annual goal is not the daily goal times 250 trading days in the year. My daily goal is aspirational. It's what I would like to hit each day. But I also recognize that I'll probably have one red day each week. So the way I factor sort of my annual goal is I have my daily goal. So we've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I'd like to hit my daily goal day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 if I can, and then this is a red day minus 5K, max loss. So these 2 days cancel each other out. So really, it's my daily goal. It's realistically my weekly goal is if I can hit the daily goal three days. It's the daily goal times 3 is my weekly goal, which would be $15,000, which would be then about $60,000 a month, which would be about $700,000 a year, give or take. So I came up shy with that last year because I finished the year with about $300,000 of profit. I did my year in review video already, so that's uploaded on YouTube if you want to check it out. So since I finished with 300,000, my daily goal, my actual what I walked away with each day was closer to $1,500 a day, which is significantly lower. Now, obviously, there were a lot of days that I did exceed the $5,000 daily goal, but then there was a lot of days that there just wasn't a lot to trade. I came up short, and then of course there were red days. So, it's kind of tough for me. On the one hand, I could just say, well, let me just set my daily goal at $1,500. That's what I was averaging last year, even though it was a slow year. I just set it at that, and but the problem with that is, again, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, right? 3 days. So now I'm at a $4,500 daily goal. So, now we're kind of at a $20,000 weekly goal, or a monthly goal approximately. And so now this is kind of setting me up. I feel like it's setting the bar too low. Like I'm not pushing myself hard enough, because that would be a $240,000 a year. Not to say that's bad. That's still 6 figures. It's still, look, for doing 2 hours, 3 hours of work each morning, it's great. But I feel like I should push myself a little harder. So I'm not sure for right now. I was kind of like, oh, maybe I should set it at like 2,500 or 3,000. Something I think 2,500 feels good to me. $2,500 days are solid. $3,000 days are solid. If I finish up 3,500, there's nothing wrong with walking away there. I shouldn't feel like, oh, I'm not at $5,000. I need to keep trading. I shouldn't feel that way at all. And at a certain level, a daily goal is completely irrelevant. And I say that because on a day when the market's really hot, you can make a ton more than whatever your daily goal is. And on the day when the market is cold, it's like it doesn't matter what your goal is. It's unrealistic to even keep trying. It's better just to wait. So, you could set a monthly goal, be like, well, I'd like to have 50,000 a month or 40,000 a month or whatever, but even then there'll be cycles where the market's really hot. Like it was in August and September, where I'll exceed my monthly goal and I'll do really well. And there's no reason to just stop trading because I hit the goal. And then there'll be months where I come up short and there's nothing I can really do about it. So I don't know, maybe it's better to detach ourselves from daily goals entirely and not really worry about it. I guess the downside would be that, I don't know. I mean, I think the thing is, emotionally, it can be helpful to have, I feel like, a daily goal, because you tell yourself, oh, I've got to keep pushing myself a little harder. I shouldn't just be sort of content with this. Or on the other hand, oh, look, I'm above my daily goal. I could sort of step back, but ultimately we should be deciding when to push and when to step back based on the condition of the market, like not our gains relative to our arbitrary number. Yes, my gains are a reflection of how I'm performing in the market. So a day where I'm up a lot is a day I should push it harder. So I did trade a little longer today because I thought, well, let's see if there's more action. But the actual daily goal is a very arbitrary number. So, I don't know. I could be convinced to throw it away, but I don't know, honestly, if I've now had a daily goal for so many years of trading, I honestly don't know if I could actually delete daily goal from my brain. Like right now, today, I was like, I have a $5,000 daily goal. So I was like, yep, I hit it. Good. I just don't know how to erase that benchmark or that kind of measuring stick that I have. Maybe that's something that I could try to work on. I don't know. I'm not really sure. But nonetheless, I finished today in good shape. And my cue to walk away was pretty simply that the stocks I was watching started to sort of fade. LBPH, that was fading, wasn't really holding up. POL, POL, it is holding up relatively well, but I feel like it's on the backside. And one of the things I said I need to be careful of, especially just in general, but this year in the beginning of the year, is trading the front side of the move and not over trading the back side of the move. And I actually did, for what's worth, overtrade LBPH a little bit because I made $4,000 on this candle. And then I gave back 1,500 of it on some of these trades up at the top when the spreads got bigger. So I went from up 4,000 to up 2,500. And I thought to myself at that point, I said, you're starting to overtrade the backside of the move. There's nothing wrong with walking away right here with $2,500. This is a good day. Anyways, it ended up curling up here. I got some more trades. I got myself up to 5,000 on it. But, if I had just hit that $4,000 winner and walked away, that wouldn't have been so bad either. So once this started to pull back, I was like, nah, I think it's done. POL started to pull back. DOGZ, I didn't have any interest in this. I didn't see, I don't know. I just didn't feel like this was obvious enough. I didn't think that other people were really watching it. I sort of struggled today with what's obvious. We've got our leading gapper, LBPH. We've got POL. And then what? This one? Nah, it's too cheap. This one? Nah. It's like, I just felt like there were a lot of kind of maybes that weren't really that interesting. SNGX sort of popped up earlier, pulled back, came back up, but cheaper. So anyways, I'm content to have locked it up here. If something ends up making a big move later in the day, one of the things that I've sort of set as a goal for this year is to not look back once I leave. Because even though I'm pretty good about not coming back after I leave, I'll still check. And sometimes I'll be checking on my phone and I'm like, I see, it's like I'm at the park with my kids or something, or I'm at the grocery store and I see this and I'm like, God dang it. I start getting really agitated, and that's FOMO. That's frustration. I feel like I've missed out. And there's a funny example. So a couple weeks ago, I had a day where I traded all afternoon. I don't remember what happened. I think I went red and I was trying to recoup losses or something. So I traded like all the way till 4 o'clock. And I did recoup some of the losses, but it was just a really stupid day because I just sat trading. And it wasn't the right market to do that in. So I didn't make a lot of progress. Anyways, there was a stock that was kind of grinding higher, kind of like DOGZ. And so it's like, it sort of makes its move, pulls back. And that was sort of in the morning. And then the afternoon, it kind of, starts grinding up here. And it finally starts to pull away. And then it immediately rejects and comes back down. And when it was in this area, the volume was super light and the spreads were big because it was like, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. No one's really looking at it. And so finally, once it starts to pull away, I got in like up here. And I was like, okay, let's just see what this does. And I ended up stopping out and taking a loss on it. So the next morning, I'm sitting down looking at charts. And someone's like, hey, look at, whatever it is. And I pull it up and I was like, oh man, that one made a big move in the afternoon. I can't believe I missed it. That was the one I had actually traded and lost on. I was so frazzled the day before, I forgot that was that one. So, but what's funny is I look at it and my immediate reaction was, darn it, I missed it, assuming I would have made money on it. But I actually traded it and I lost on it. So isn't that kind of funny? Because that just shows you your perspective of like, you always assume if you had been here, you would have made money on it. And so you make yourself feel bad, when in reality, there are times where you could have been sitting here the whole time and not even traded it. Like for me today on POL, for whatever reason, possibly a very good reason. So one of my goals is to leave and not look back. And so tomorrow, when I sit down in the morning, I'll look at the scans and I'll see what stocks did, the previous day, like in the afternoon. And if I see something that made a big move, I'll be like, okay, I could factor that into my decision-making today. But I don't want to spend the whole rest of the day feeling FOMO and frustration for missing a move. I just think that's a waste of time. Having said that, it's also true that I would want to know if a stock made like a 500% move or a 1000% move. I don't need to know in the moment necessarily, because trying to come back and trade it, as I've said, would be really reckless, and I'd be doing it from this FOMO kind of emotionally fueled place. But I do need to know if a stock made a big move the previous day, because that is going to factor into my view of sentiment for today, when we're starting to get into these hot cycles. So I do need to check, but I don't need to do it in real time. So once I walk away, I want to be done for the day. So I'm done for the day. I'll see you guys back at it first thing tomorrow morning. Reminder, as always, trading is risky. My results are not typical. Don't try to blindly follow me or anyone else. If you're interested in becoming a member at Warrior Trading, come on over to our website. Check out the New Year's sales that we've got going on right now. We'd love to have you join us, and I'll see you hopefully in the chat room. But if not, I'll see you for my recap bright and early. Well, it won't be bright and early, but I'll see you for the recap tomorrow. All right. Thanks as always for tuning in, and check out another episode YouTube thinks you're going to love. It'll be posted right